Dwight.
And it records it too, because at the end of these, I like to be able to post them when it works up on our YouTube channel so people can watch them after the fact, or if they can't be there that day, they can watch them later. So let's see if we can get
So
this.
are you on Facebook or are you doing the
I put the link on Facebook, and now we're on the Zoom itself, and I need to start my video, make sure that works. And I go back and forth with the technology. We have that board. Oh, dear God, which one?
It never works on Monday.
Well, now it's.
It's pretty entertaining when you're in person or watching the sign about your work.
What the heck? This is, I borrowed, there we go. I borrowed Robert's. Robert apparently thinks that people can see through these cameras. Like, he has like this thing on the front of it that blocks it. I think a lot of people do because they have that blocker up here. Maybe they can, I don't know. I don't really worry about it. Bonjour, Kevin. Can you see right there? Since I think you're the other one I got in here. I got a couple people in here. No, I just have you in here right now. So can you see what I've got on the board there at all? Is it visible somewhat? Is it backwards? Because it's backwards to me. It always shows up backwards on my screen. Hopefully it's not backwards. So, okay, so today I decided that we would do a little particular activity, if you will. We're going to talk about something in particular. I know we've done a bunch of stories and things, but this is something we haven't spent a lot of time on. I realized that after a conversation actually I had with Dwight. He helped me realize that we haven't really talked about this lately quite a bit, and that's the idea of command form or prohibitive form. So this would be the form that you use if you're telling somebody, hey, do that, sit down. You guys sit down, or saying, hey, don't sit there, or don't say that. You use this, that's the prohibitive form. But we're going to start off with the command form. It's called imperative in Polynomial. It's pretty easy to use, and we're going to go through the different forms of it. The basic form, that VAI form, is very simple to use. To say more than one person, you simply add an N to it, or excuse me, a K to it, say more than one. N is just one person, okay? And you can just take any number of these type verbs and then bam, use them. I decided not to put the words up here in English just to see if y'all can, those of you that have been around a while might enjoy the challenge of seeing if you can figure out what some of these words are. If you don't, I'll put them up here. So all I've got up here right now is I've got the verb in the singular and plural. And then over here, I've got the let's do it form. And then again, the verb singular and plural. And I'll go ahead and write those up there as we go. Gyptaben. Anybody know what gyptaben is?
Sit.
Sit. So you're telling one person, sit. Gyptaben. Gyptaben. Gyptabak. Everybody sit. Gyptabak. So again, that's the plural. Gyptabak. Mban.
Sleep.
Sleep. Good. Mbak. Everybody sleep. Now here, you're not telling them to go to sleep, you're actually saying sleep. And I'm going to show you how to say the difference here in just a second. Okay. Kogan. Come on, that's the way I remember this one. You're going to want to remember this one if you don't. Kogan, anybody? Get the out of here. Heck out of here. This is a very forceful way to say get out of here. Kogan. And so like if you said Majin, it's like leave. Majin. And maybe they're not getting the message. Kogak. Get the heck out of here. I had a speaker tell me that their speaker or a person told me that their dad or grandpa used to always say, like when stray dogs would come around, they were, Kogak, Kogak, get out of here, Kogak. So Kogan, telling one person, get the heck out of here. Kogak, a bunch of people, get out of here. If you come home and there's a bunch of people in your house, you're tired, Kogak, get out of here, Kogak. And again, if you want to, this is very forceful. If you want to be a little more polite about it, just you can use Maji, leave, Majik, you all leave. This is like, get to go. Kogan, Kogak. So get out of here. We snook. Yeah, eat. And then we snook would be you all eat. And so now to say let's do it in Potawatomi, you do gage, and then you have the men at the end. So gage, jeep dub men. Gage, jeep dub men. Let's sit. Gage, jeep dub men. And this is one place, if we have any folks join us here from Canada or from they do it differently in Ojibwa. It's actually easier in Ojibwa. It makes me wonder sometimes to myself, man, maybe. Usually it's never that way. It's always easier in Potawatomi because Ojibwas have like extra letters, extra vowels, all this extra junk. But I will say they got a pretty easy way to do this. They just put a da at the end. It's like Jupita or Wisnada. Let's eat. That's simple as well. For us, it's Gege Wisnaman. Gege Wisnaman. So, and what this literally means is this gay is like the immediate future. So what you're really saying is, let's eat right now. Let's eat right now. Gege Wisnaman. Gege Kogaman. Let's get the heck out of here. Gege Kogaman. Right now. Let's get the heck out of here. Gege Kogaman. Gege Mbaman. Let's get to sleep. Gege Mbaman. Gege Jeepdubman. Let's sit down. Okay. Some other things that you can add to the front of these to make them fun or just more creative and be more precise. You can add a bia to the front of some of these, or you can add an O to the front. The bia means to like come there, kind of go in that direction. The O means literally like go. So like earlier, if you said ban, you're actually saying sleep. But if you want to tell somebody, hey, go to bed. Om ban, you put an O on the front of it. Bam. Om ban, go to sleep. Om bak, you all go to sleep versus just sleep. The other one, you're actually physically telling them sleep. Okay, like sleep, but go to sleep. Om ban. And you can add those to a lot of different verbs to add emphasis. Like down here, you guys know what nimadin is? Nimadin.
Dance.
Dance. Okay, so that by itself is dance. With the O on, you're saying go dance. O nimadin, go dance. So that would be like the difference of like, hey, you're like maybe in the arena already, and they're like, hey, dance. You're like, okay, get after it. Versus maybe somebody who's sitting up in the stands and they're like, I don't know if I want to go to Oni Meding, go dance. Oni Meding, go dance. Or Oni Medik, everybody go dance. Oni Medik. So, and then Migadi. Does anybody know what that is? Migadi. That verb, Migadi. If you can see it. This one was dance. Go dance. Migadi, fight. You tell them, fight. Go fight. Go duke it out. Go fight. Oh, migadi. Like maybe you got some people that are just, I don't know, just like what you, just go fight. Oh, migadi. Go fight. Go duke it out. Let's get it done with. Oh, migadi. Oh, migadi. Everybody go fight. You're trying to start a riot. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how you live your life, but maybe you need this word one day. I don't know. So, oh, migadi. Oh, migadi. So, go fight. You're probably more likely to have the other one, do the other one, don't fight. But hey, whatever, go fight.
Just fight by itself.
The verb itself is migadi. So if you take the N and the so off, that's the verb to fight. So if you said like I'm fighting but then you got to change. It's a little more complicated than that because like it's also the word that you would use also like if you're talking about like war, you say migadi, where it'd be like a war or a battle. A fight, because once I was going to say you could say, oh, I'm going to go fight so-and-so, but then you change the verb to migana to fight somebody. So sometimes it's not that simple, but it is the basic words. Like you said, the way this usually gets used, honestly, is more like don't. Like don't fight. Gago migadi can. Don't fight. Gago migadi can. Don't y'all fight. More like that. But we're going to get into that too. Be a beat again. What's that? Be a beat again. You may have heard beat again, but come on in, come on in. And it's just adding a little extra emphasis. Begin by itself means enter. So if you're like, begin. But maybe you really want to make sure that they feel welcome. Maybe they're just kind of lollygagging. Come on, be a begin. Come on in, be a begin. Be a begin. Or be a begin. Everybody come on in. Be a begin. That's one place you can add like that, be a. Another place, which I forgot to write up here, that I actually use all the time is, I will add that be to the front of Wiesnen. A lot of times when I'm yelling at my kids, I'll say, come eat. Instead of just saying eat, Wiesnen, I'll say, be a Wiesnen. Everybody come eat. Be a Wiesnen. And I've got it to the point wwhere my little daughter, sometimes I'll yell at and she'll, you want me to go tell everybody? And she'll run up the stairs, be a Wiesnen. Be a Wiesnen. It's really cute. It's really cute. Yeah. I'll have to record doing that sometimes. It just warms my heart when I hear that. So be a wee snack. But there'd be another example of how you can do that. Come eat. Be a wee snack. Be a wee snack. And so again, that would be kind of the difference between now a lot of times what you hear, a lot of times when you go to like, or not as often anymore, but some of our speakers, when they get done eating, a lot of times, or not eating, they get done praying, a lot of times they'll just go, we snuck. Everybody eat, we snuck. Just to use the command for everybody, we snuck. So they don't usually get all, hey, let's eat. Yeah, we snuck, but there's times for that too. Usually they're just like, go eat, let's eat, or go eat, we snuck. Okay, so omban, again, that was to go to bed versus just sleep. Omban, ombak, go to bed. What about bemupton? What do you think that one is? I know you've heard bemupton. Run, bemupton, run, run. Bemupton, everybody run. So here you're telling one person, run. Here you're telling a bunch of people, run. Maybe somebody's coming after you, I don't know. Come on down. Or maybe you're in a race and you're like, come on down. Or at a game and they're running the ball like, come on down, run. Yeah. Cannot hurry up. Yeah. What about Bamosin? What do you think that is? Who does Bamose, mosey by? Walk. Like walk. So maybe you got somebody like, I use this a lot with my kids, so they love to run in buildings. I usually start with don't run, and then I'll say walk. You know, Bamosa, everybody walk. Or Bamosin, tell one person, hey, Peyton, Bamosin, Nasana, be careful, walk. Bamosin. So again, all you have to do with these type verbs is just add an in for singular and a K for plural. So if you're telling everybody to walk, Bamosa, maybe you got a group of kids, they're all running around, hey, Bamosa, walk, Bamosa. Here's one that we use quite a bit. Beyond, what's that? Beyond shoulder, come here, So come. So one person, beyond. Yeah. You might throw a shoda in there. Beyond shoda, come here. Yep, sure. Beyond Edayan, come to my house. Beyond Edayan, come to my house. Come to where I live. Beyond. Biak, everybody. Biak. You notice I didn't have my house on that one. Biak, Biak Edayan. Everybody come to my house. I only did the singular one. Biak, everyone go. Everyone go. So biak. So if you got a bunch of people, you're trying to get them to come, hey, biak, come on. And these are great, commands are great to use for, a variety of things. They're wonderful with kids. Honestly, with my kids, I mainly do commands because I'm not real, like, especially with littler kids, I'm not real like, hey, what do you want? I mean, unless I'm asking what they want to eat or something, I'm like, hey, go do this, get out, tell you what, it's a lot of commands. But even with adults, I mean, these are great to use. I mean, if you got a friend that's maybe that you know, or somebody that you run into that knows a little pot on you, you might be like, hey, Bamosin, walk. Bamosin, just kind of give them a hard time. Hey, don't run, slow down, Bamosin. Or maybe you want to tell them like, Kogan, get the heck out of here, Kogan. Use them like that, or whatever. But commands are great, and they're pretty simple to use. Oh, this last one, Giziyabadeon. Giziyabadeon. This is a hard one. I wonder if anybody will get this one. Giziyabadeon. Well, it's not a hard one, I guess, but it's not as common as this one. Giziyabadeon. You know this one? Giziyabadeon. Anybody out there in internet land know this one? Yeah. Yeah, what you were saying, Kevin, about the O and the B, yeah, they're considered free verbs. Yeah, you can put them on the front of just verbs in general too, yeah. So you can see, yeah, he asked if they're free verbs. Brush your teeth. Giziyabadeon. Brush your teeth. Tell one person, Giziyabadeon. Everybody brush your teeth. See, we have some hygiene. No, just kidding. Giziyabadeon. Giziyabadeon. So if you were to tell like a kid or tell somebody, hey, Giziyabadeon, brush your teeth. Giziyabadeon. Yeah, this might be one you want to use with your friends. Maybe you get a little too close and you're like, man, dang, got some strong copy breath or something or whatever. Watch breath, I don't know. Giziyabadeon, brush your teeth. Giziyabadeon or Giziyabadeon, brush your teeth. So again, with these VAI ones, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's an in for singular, one person, and a K for plural. And then if you want to do the let's, you put the gay and the men at the end. Yeah, but I would say these two probably get used a lot more often, just the N and the K. So, but you can pretty much take any verb you can think of that's a VAI and just throw it in on there. Like binchige. Binchige is not up here. Binchige is the verb to clean. So if you want to tell somebody to clean, you say binchigan, clean. If you want to tell everybody to clean, binchigak, everybody clean. Some of this stuff is, it's in context. It's pretty easy to understand in context, but plural, clean. Clean. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if y'all were writing these down, so I'll give you all a moment here. We'll kind of go back over these if anybody's writing them down. If you're not writing them down, you can just memorize them. More words, more power to you. That's fine too. Or just listen. That's okay. Because you have to realize that we all learn a little differently. And so, a lot of us have been trained to do things a certain way, whether through school or whatnot. Skongam Genevich Anet Kinomagwit, Nesap Ekinomagit. Some of these teachers at school, they taught in the same ways, like do this and write it. Whatever works. There's a technology approach. Take a picture with your phone. That works too. You can grab the whole thing that way. Yeah. And like I said, for some people, writing it down actually helps. Like for me, when I write things, it actually helps link it in my mind. Like I can just recall it easier. And that might be the physical movement, the kinesthetic, or it might be the visual of me seeing it written. It's hard to tell. So the only thing about the audio, the good thing about the audio is we are recording, so you could listen to it later, or if you got a camera or your thing, you could record them. But we'll go through them one more time here. Jeep to Ben. If you want to try saying it, Jeep to Ben. Jeep to Buck. Jeep to Buck. Mban. Mbak. Kogan. Can't say that without saying Kogan. Wiesnen. Wiesnek. Gege Jeeptemen. Gegembamen. Gegembamen. Gege Kogamen. Gege Wiesnemen. Bia. Oh, here. Omban, good. Ombak.
Bak.
Bia again.
Bierbingen.
Everybody. Bia. Omegade.
Omegaden.
I don't need to be encouraging people to fight. It just came from. I was just thinking of random words. Omegade. You're joking. Omegade. I'm not saying you should start fights or fight clubs. Onimedi.
So question, the Nimadi has usually a little glottal stop.
Oh, yeah, you
after
can
the
write.
E. Do
Yeah.
you lose that in the?
No, I just
So
didn't write
would you
it.
still use it? Would you say Onim Adim?
I mean, you
So
don't
you've
need,
got that between the M and the E, or would you just run it all together?
in that sense, when a command is going to run, really,
Okay.
because you're saying it fast. A great example of that is when we go to the next type ones. There's a few things that I often say in my house that I've had to slow them down for people. Like I slow it down for my wife because I always would say, Zagajwebenen. Tell my kids, Zagajwebenen. And she's like, man, and they knew that was to throw something away. But she, for the life of her, said, I can't understand what you're saying. I was like, man, I'm sorry. Some of these words, you get used to saying them and they get so entrenched in your mind. And with commands, it's usually like you need it as fast as you can because you want it done. Unless you're like in no hurry, I guess, but you're like, do this, do that. So it kind of tends to come out fast anyway. So what it is this Zagajwebenen. Throw it out, toss it out. Zagajweb. And I had to realize I had to slow it down a little bit because I got used to being like Zagajwebenen. And she's heard me say tons of things and follow me, knows a lot of things, but she was like, I can't heck you're saying it. My bad. Appreciate you saying that. There's never a time that you can't say, hey, repeat that, or can you enunciate that a little bit or slow it down a little bit? Because with commands, you're kind of saying them pretty fast usually. Another one is like Scabi Webman, flush the toilet. That's a constant fight in my household.
No kidding.
These kids never flush the toilet. Scabi Webman. So, but let's finish these here. Bamupton. Bamosen. Bamosa. Beyond. Biak. Giziyabadeon. Giziyabadeok. Good, good, very good. Yeah, one of y'all sound good, man. Sounds good. Chris, sounds good. And I don't say that to everybody, but y'all sound good. I've had some people I listen to and I'm like,
And we look good too.
oh, I say, they can't see you. Do you want me to turn the camera to you, Paul? Oh, like, hey, hold on here, hold on. When I did that, it took. I think you broke my camera. Yeah, you did. It says your default microphone has changed to. Yeah, nah. Yeah, it just stopped working, Paul. It's the heck of that. I think I just got to turn it. I think what it is. Oh, there we go, Paul. Wave to the crowd. Okay. Apparently, when you move your camera real fast, it freaks out. Which I get that. So let's try to.
But it's been 2 weeks.
Okay. I got it backwards. See the board. Okay. So that's your imperative. That's the VAI. Now, there's how many types of verbs? Main types we got. 10,000, I could call. Usually there's like a couple different types of verbs, like VAIs, there's VIIs, there's VTIs, VTAs. About how many? What do you think?
4.
4. Yeah. There's four main types, if you will. I mean, you can get to like there's independent, there's conjunct, and all that, but there's 4 main types that we often talk about. The VAIs are basically verbs that don't affect other people, like not directly at least. I mean, it's like I sit, I eat, I read, I dance. So that might affect people in a negative way. but things like that. I work. Just things that you're not talking about, like you're not saying I touch it or I pick it up, like that table or that chair, or I talk to him or I talk to her. But the other type of verb is VIIs, or another type. And a lot of those tend to be weather type terminologies. Kasenyam get, it's cold. Kijatem get, it's hot. Niskadet, it's stormy. Jigwek, it's thundering. Those do not have a command verb. Because unless you're like, I don't know, Harry Potter or Elsa, you do not have command over the ice or command over the weather. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe you do, but the average person doesn't talk like that. They don't say like, you don't say, tell the weather, be good weather. Like, wow.
How would you say like, hurry up spring?
I mean, you could do that, I guess, but you're not really commanding it though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're just, yeah. Because I should mention here, there are a couple of commands that are not based on singular or plural. Let me write those up there. That brings that up right there. Can up is one of them. Can up just means hurry. It can be singular or plural. I think I heard the other one. Did I hear one? I thought I heard somebody say the other one. Dokum. Dokum is another one. It's not singular or plural. Just be quiet. Quiet. And then, be quiet when? I mean, you could say that, but again, you don't have the power to tell the wind to be quiet. Well, if you think it works, you could say dokum. No, it didn't. I'm just saying that most of those VII verbs are like essence verbs, like it is something, like it's round. Like I can't look at this table and be like, be round, and it's gonna be round. Well, if I could, and maybe if you can, maybe you can command with VIIs, but and the general public, that tends not to be something you can do. In the language, it's not something that we don't really have those type forms because it's, again, I can't command it to be certain thing. I can't be like, be red, and then it just changes red. Yeah, I could get a marker out and I could color it red, but then I'd be like, hey, color it red. Okay, and I color red. But I didn't just go, be red. And sure, there's programs I could push a button. I mean, but regardless, VIIs are not a commandable type form. So dokum means be quiet. Can up means to hurry. These are also ones I use quite a bit in my household. Not a lot of need for dokum, a lot of need for can up. Hurry up. Sometimes there's a whine. get up, and hurry, or dokum, be quiet. And again, that's singular and plural. But let's get into the next type that does have commands. And those are called VTI verbs. And VTI verbs are verbs where you interact with something. So like, I touch the table. I pick up my phone. I'm listening to the radio. I'm looking at the clock. I'm opening the door. Or you're opening the door. It doesn't have to just be me. I mean, it's all about me. Everybody else do. You're opening it, she's doing it, whatever. But somebody is interacting with some kind of object. And that's what a VTI type verb is. So, for example, we could say, that's right, you're reading my mind. Look at you.
Well done.
Look at it, wabden. And then wabdemok. You all. Now, obviously, we could also just say nuksha. Look, and that's one of those expressions too that you can use that's not a verb based one. It's like nuksha. Look, nuksha. You can say nuksha, nekdosha, nuksha. Look at those people that doesn't have nuksha too. If you want to say, look at it, wabdeni, wabdemo, you all look at it. As a verb, like wabjige. Well, there's nobden too. There's nobden. There's lots of sight ones. Like I could change.
If you want to say like, he is looking,
Okay, like he's looking at it.
he is looking at.
Well, then you're not talking about the commands anymore. You're just talking about. But he's looking at what? See, it changed. See, it depends what he's looking at. When you said we're on TI, so I thought, okay, he's talking about looking at a table. You said tree. So. So that is a form. It's called the obviative. And it's used a lot of times in stories. Okay, storytelling. So he's looking at, and it's a little bit funky. It does a couple things that are a little weird. But I'll put it up here. Okay. So wabman. This is called the obviative. This is with a VTA verb. So it's he's looking at him, her, or them, that tree. And in the obviative, this normally is inanimate, okay? But in the obviative, it's used to mark who's looking at what. So if I said like, I can throw a man up here. Nene wabman mim tukum. The man is looking at the tree. If this was different and this man was behind this, also you have to throw this E in at the end. So this, the ni and the E in tell you that's who's being looked at, okay? You ask a big question, you got a big answer. So
I have another question.
you were grading this question? Okay.
Remember my list of 200 words? Looking is one and seeing is another. So how would seeing work?
I mean, well, what you're saying though is you're looking at just the root word itself. You wouldn't use this form. These are commands. You're telling people to do it here. It's a little different. So you would want to look at the individual words themselves. And we could give you a list of, okay, this is looking, this is this, like that. But this is like telling somebody to do it. It wouldn't be the same. Wouldn't be the same thing.
Wait on.
Kidian, what did you say? Somebody have a question? Okay. Oh, I think maybe some folks was chatting. Okay. So, but this is some complicated. This is called, you can put this in your memory bank. We'll come back to it someday, but don't get too bent out of shape. This is called the obviative or storytelling mode. Okay. And it's got some stuff about it that's a little funkier than normal stuff. So just kind of bank that and come back later. Yeah. So we're gonna go back to commands though. We're not gonna let Dwight derail us today. Not today, sir. Not today. Tomorrow, maybe. Not today. But we don't have class. So you can derail. So okay. So wabden, look at it. Wabdemok, you all look at it. I'm gonna take this one off. And then if I want to say like, pick it up. Okay. Dapnen. Oh, and I should say too, this is pick it or them up. So like if it's more than one of them, it's like this is just you telling one person to do it. So I could tell you Dapnen dapnen I biskowan, pick up that shirt, or I could say, dapnen ni gabadi, pick up those pants. Doesn't matter, I'm just telling you to pick it up. Pick it up. Yeah. And then dapnemok. You all pick it up. Now, the only thing about this style is there is one more type that's, you have all these that goes to like, because the verb itself is wabdon, okay? That's the verb, to see it. This might be closer to what you're looking at.
Right.
That's the verb, wabdon. But when you're using command, it's wabdin. And when you tell more than one person, it's wabdemok. But that's the verb. The same with this one here, dapnan. The actual verb is dapnan, and you're saying dapnin or dapnemok. But that's the actual verb itself. If that makes sense. If it doesn't,
It does to me.
it doesn't. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Perhaps tomorrow it will. Perhaps tomorrow it won't. You just got to be patient with it. Some of this stuff, some days it's hit and miss. Some days stuff just, you're like, man, I just understand so much today. And the next day you're like, oh my God, I don't understand anything. We all have those type moments, and hopefully you have more of the good ones than the bad ones. But hey, it will start to even out for you, I think, the more you really just kind of take a moment and kind of refresh your mind. So, if you get a chance when you're not in class to kind of maybe look over some stuff and think about it, it'll help maybe kind of re-iron it out and kind of work it through your mind that way. Or if you got a chance and you want to use some of our online resources, lots of them out there. We have a Memrise, 2 courses on Memrise. We got the Moodle, it's still up and running, though the link to it's a little funky sometimes. And then we've got online dictionary. 70% of the words have audio, lots of good stuff. Example sentences. I had to throw that out there. My little, in case somebody watches this down the road. This is my little advertisement there. So, okay, so now ones that end in don though are a smidge different. Okay, so like biadon means to bring it. Okay, this is the verb right here, to bring it, but it's also how you tell somebody to bring it. You say biadon, you're saying bring it. Biadok, you all bring it. And again, it's it or them. So with the ones that end in don, it's don and then dok. Okay. The non ones and the don ones, they go like this, but the ones that end in don, they just be a don, be a dok. Let me think of another example. Well, naden is a good one. The verb itself here is nadan, the verb to fetch or bring something, but we hardly ever use it like this because most of the time you're telling somebody to go get it. You're not like, oh, I went to the store and I fetched the apples. Went and bought some apples or picked, like I'm not going to say it, but the command form is naden. This is used a lot. Naden, I'll tell my kids, what's the program? Naden wish kebabo, grab me a pop. Naden wish kebabo. They're old enough they can open the fridge, they can do that for me. Naden wish kebabo. Or you can say, but then if you're then it's naduck, or you naduck. So you all fetch. Right now, this one's still over there. Majidon. Majidon is another good one too. Majidon, take it. Majidon. So majidon is the verb to take it. It's also the way you tell somebody, take it. So like maybe you have some food left over. Hey, take that food. Take it with you. Majidon. Or maybe you've got a gift that you received somewhere, and you say, hey, majidon, take that. Maybe a scale or something that you want. Majidon, take it. Then you're telling them, do it. Okay, said so.
Going back to the other verb, the command, the imperative command.
Yes, it is imperative command to say to give, but it's a VTA verb. We haven't got to that one yet. So, like you can say, mission is like give me, mission. Now, the VTIs are a lot like the VAIs. There's like 2 main types. Mainly, there's like you do it or everybody do it. Okay? In this VTA form, there's like 7 of them. There's like, you give it to him, you give it to her, you all give it to him, you all give it to her, you give it to me, everybody give it to me, or everybody look at me, whatever the verb is, But there's like several of them. You do it to, you give that to, you watch over us, you all watch over us. In fact, those VTAs, you hear them a lot in prayers, like Kawab Meshna. You or you all watch over us. Kawab Meshna. Kawabim. You watch over him, her, or them. Kawabim. Kawabim gi Pinojea. You watch over those children. See some thoughts. Y'all have any thoughts? Okay. Maji don't take it. Maji don't. You all take it. So, I mean, commands, I mean, they really are a great way to use it because you can do this with, in English, we think of commands in a very negative way. It's like, oh, you don't tell me what to do. In Potawatomi, everything is just much more direct. When you're commanding people, it's more like, it sounds so rough saying command. You're just asking them to do it. Like in English, we'd say, oh, pardon me, can you please, or can you please? Like, we don't have a lot of those niceties in our language. Like, we don't have like, excuse me, or could you please do this for me? It's just like, do it for me. Okay, cool, I will. But in English, it's like rough to talk like that. You talk like that, you're like, well, who are you to tell me what I can do or don't do? You don't tell me nothing. In English, we get offended by it. We're like, well, excuse me, you say please, or excuse me, you don't do that. And so we have all these little niceties and things, but in reality, sometimes we're not even that nice to begin with. We just throw them in there. We're just like, hey, now we can be rude because we threw a please in there or thank you or, whatever. So we can do that way. So we don't have a lot, like we don't have excuse me or pardon me or please that we use in the language. It's just direct. Give me, hand me, give it to her, hand it to her. Okay. If your grandma tells you, you hand it to that person, you hand it to that person. Your elder says, hey, you go do that. You go do that. You don't question them. You don't go, hey, well, excuse me, I'm not doing it. My elder just told me to go do it. It ain't like that. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. You just do it. So in a way, it's a little bit different mindset too. You have to realize that inside of the language, there's a lot of things in there that maybe if you think about it from an English side, they don't make maybe as much sense, or you think to yourself, that seems kind of rude or crude or whatever, but it's not. It's just direct. And English hates to be direct. We hate being direct. We love beating around the bush. I mean, there's people that we all know somebody who's very direct that you're like, but everybody's always like, oh, she's real direct. Like they'll tell you like, whoa, be careful. I hope my aunt doesn't offend you, boy. She's real direct. But it's like almost like a negative thing in English. In English, we're like, Dwight, if you have some time on Friday, if you're not too busy, do you mind? Maybe you could come by and take a load of hay or something. And I'm just, what? In Potawatomi, it's like, haul some stuff on Friday. Bam. And you can't either say yes or no, yay or nay. It's like that. So it's very direct in that way.
Yeah. Here's a couple of questions that I have. Give.
Mission.
So if I mission,
Mhm.
so I can tell Paul,
Give me.
give you.
Me now. And we haven't, your question you have hasn't been answered yet,
Okay.
but we'll go there next, okay? But it's gonna overwhelm everybody's minds, but that's okay because it's still a question thing.
What does the word for give mean?
Mission.
Mission.
It's the same verb. It's just changing. Mission, give me. If I said, look at me, wab meshin, look at me. All of you look at me, wab meshuk. Everybody look at me. Wabum, look at him. Why? Paul's like, God, Paul's like, sorry. Like, caught me off guard there. I shouldn't have pointed. That was rude of me. See, we don't do that. I should have just used my lips. Yeah, I should have given him over there. I don't have very big lips. Maybe I do. I got a big nose. Move my nose instead. Point my nose instead. My wife's like,
So what is the word for give?
the verb is mina. Mina is the verb,
Me.
but it changes. I'll show you. I'll show you what I mean here. I'm gonna try to make it clear to you. I know what you're trying to say. The problem is English talks a lot in nouns. That's what makes it hard because English, you have run in English, but it's like a noun. It's like, then I have to attach this I, like I'm gonna go running, you're gonna run, but we can just go run. You just don't do that. In Potawatomi, it's like he's running, they're running, somebody's doing the action. It's more action-based. So it makes Potawatomi a little more complicated sometimes the English mindset, because in English, everything's static. It's like this. And in Potawatomi, it's more like this. It's kind of like moving. It's in motion. Things are flowing, Yeah, even the word to walk, that bamose, literally means walking by. The bame part is saying you're going by. Yeah, I can translate and say that's walk, and it is. But it's literally walking by. Bamose. Namose is leaving while you're walking. Guetose, turn and walk. Guaso, jump out. It makes sense, I guess. I tried too hard, but you can just keep adding things to stuff, talking about walking, and you get real specific. Like in English, we just say walk, or we say run. Maybe we say jog. We have a couple ones, but you can be like walk on one leg, crawl. Like you can change the words to make it mean that specific way. And so every time people ask me for a translation, it's hard because sometimes people, they try to come from an English mindset. And they're like, how do you say this? And I'll have to turn to them and be like, what do you mean? Like, I understand you, but I think I understand you, but am I understanding you the way you think that I understand you? You know what I mean? Because in English, one word, like it can depend what you're talking about. Because Potawatomi, you have to know, number one, are you talking about, like if I just said love, well, are you talking about love between people? Are you talking about something you treasure and value in love, like your favorite piggy bank? Are you talking about a certain way? Is this somebody that you love in more like a romantic type way? Because we have levels of love. You can change, which drives my wife crazy because the word that she loves is the one I usually use at home is get to bond. Get to bond. I love you. You use that with your kids. You can use that with grandkids. You can use that with friends. But then if you talk about your actual spouse, or it's geminwenmen, changes, a different type of love. When English, we just have love. Same with sight a lot of times. In English, you got see. Potawatomi, we can say see, stare. But yeah, you have some of those words, but it just changes on the situation. So you have to know exactly how you're experiencing that. Because of that, the language is also, for a lot of people, it's very descriptive in the way that they see things. Like when you hear it, it's almost like it draws a picture for you. It's like really showing you like, bam, you're like, oh, okay. Huh, like that. Okay, in that way, cool. So that was a very long answer. I'm not even sure what the question was now, but okay. I left that answer a long time back. So, okay. So we're going to go ahead and go into VTAs. What the heck? Why not? No place else. And again, we're just dabbling. I will tell you the easiest ones to use are your VAIs. Because you got an N or K. As long as you walk out of this class and you recall that an N for singular on VAIs and a K plural, you walked away with a lot of knowledge. The rest is all extra, all sugar coat on the top or a couple cherries on top or something. So, okay, here we go. Welcome. Now this is the point of the class where I ask you, do you want to take the blue pill or the red pill? Have you ever watched The Matrix? You take the blue pill, you go to sleep, you wake up, you think everything's all cool. Take the red pill. You see how far the rabbit hole goes down. So here we go. So we'll start out with, I'll come to Mina in just a minute. We'll start with Nijok Meshing is a good one. Nijok Meshing. Okay. Help me. This is a great one to be able to say. Nijok Meshing, help me. You ask people for help all the time. Help me. Can you help me out? What are you doing? Or even if you're in a prayer and you want to say, hey, help me. So that I can talk to Potawatomi or whatever. So you'll see this shin in me on all these verbs when you say, you do it to me. So I might as well use this one too. Mission. So mission is give me. This is help me. Okay. That should at the end again. But here you've lost, well, you lose the end. So the verb is me now. So the verb of me joke mission, you lose part of it too. It's me joke mo wa. So the wa is gone, and this one's me now. Okay, that's the verb. That's the verb to give somebody something. This is the verb to help somebody. This is the command form, help me. Now, if you want to tell a bunch of people to help you, like you're looking for a crowd, you need a bunch of help, instead of nijok meshen, it's nijok meshuk. Nijok meshuk. But you'll notice that the wa falls off on that one. This type of verb, that particular moa verb, the wa drops. That's why it's not up in here. So it's not nijok moeshen, it's nijok meshen. Okay. Again, this is a little bit complicated, so just bear with me for a minute. We'll look at it a little bit and then we'll get on to something easier. Something to walk away with. Nijok meshuk. Nijok meshuk is you all help me. Nijok meshuk. So now you're saying you all help me. First one was you help me. So it's just one person. You help me. This is a great one, nijok meshen, to use like with a friend or a grandkid or whoever. Just, hey, help me, nijok meshen, nijok meshen. Nijok meshen, go help me today. Nijok meshen, manogish getsagach. Help me, it's a nice day outside. Help me. Mission, give me. Very common to use, mission. Okay? But there's a lot of ones you can use. You can use give me, you can use hand me. Nin motion means to hand me. So hand me. You can say, pass me, Vietnam. Pass. Actually, this one's just pass, not pass me. This one is more, this is actually closer to, this is a VTI. You just say, pass it, Vietnam. That's what I use with like salt. Vietnam is sita. Vietnam e sita. Pass the salt. Vietnam e was cook. Pass the pepper. I don't say pass it to me. I just say pass it. Pass the salt. Then motion, hand me. Mission, give me. Now, if you want to say give us, like give all of us, it's mission. So now you're saying give, you give all of us, or yeah. No, you all give. No, you all give me. You all give me. I'm sorry. You all help. I got it. You all. Yeah, you all give me shook. I got it right there. So you all give me shook. Now, if you want to say help Paul or help Dwight, help Paul. Now, we'll use a couple different verbs here so you can see how it works. So if I was to say help Paul, we would say this might be really useful. Nijok Mao. Help you, help him, her, them. Nijok Mao. And there's a variation of this. Some people just drop that off and just go nijok mo. Tell them one person help. So help him or her. Help. So you help him, her, or them actually.
You help singular?
Yeah, you help singular. Nijok Mao. So if I was to say, hey, nijok Mao Dwight, you help Dwight. Nijok Mao Rita. Nijok Mao Guru Majik Waja, Menonishna Bemawad. You help these folks that can speak good Indian. There you go. So you can use it that way too. So it's you help him, her, or them. Nijok Mao. Now, Mina is an odd one because Mina is a very small verb. What's basically happening is it's flipping a lot of times. So like Wabin, if I was to use that verb, it's a verb to see someone. If I was saying see him, basically like look at him, see him. It goes like this, Wabum, telling you to do that. Mina, though, is a very small verb. Okay. And if I flipped it, it doesn't work. Like you can't have these two. It would be like, that's crazy. It doesn't work that way. So what ends up with Mina is you just use Mina. You know, do that to him or her. Or no, I lied. Hold on. Hold on. Mina is a funky one. Just remembered it now. I almost told you right. It changes. Changes to Mish. Changes to Mish. Mish. See, Mina, Mish, yeah. The ones that end in NA do this. Changes to Mish. So there's some variants. So these are, I mean, the best way to learn these, in my opinion, is to learn the ones that are useful to you in the ways that you would use them. Okay. Then you can worry about getting all the different ones together. Because then you got another one here for like help us. Nijok mesh nak. Now that one's useful if you do a lot of praying, you know. Nijok mesh nak. So that's you or you all help us. Help us. So for example, if you were asking like your ancestors to help you or something, I get Nijok mesh nak. Whatever I do today, help us. Or you're asking, maybe you're praying like to different spirits, to different directions. Wherever they're at, just spirits, help us. So you or you all help us. So if you just were talking to the Creator, just like, hey, Creator, Mamo Gostan, Shemnado, Mamo Gostan, Nijok Meshna, Creator, you help us. Nijok Meshna, help us.
So it doesn't matter if you're listening.
You or you all. Yep. So it works in both those ways. So like that's what I mean. So you could pray depending on what you believe, and I'm not here to advocate how anybody believes. Let's put my little disclaimer out there. You can be whatever you want to be and all that's cool. Trust me. If you want to pray to this way to Allah, you want to pray to God, Jesus, to spirits, however you want to use it, it works that way. You can use it that way. So in fact, I think that personally, however you believe, it's great to be able to do it in your language. However you believe it in the world, So by all means, Nijok Meshnak, you all help us. Nijok Meshnak can be Creator, can be spirits, it can be, you name it, the ancestors, whatever you want to talk about. Or you can say like, Nijok, well, I think I've already ripped your minds up already. I'm done. Done with that. So I'm going to now leave this momentarily. And now that I feel like your minds at this point are like, I feel like they're almost melting. Like they're like going like this. Like. So the thing to recall from this is most of the time, if you're using VAI verbs, you put an N to be singular and a K to be plural. The end of that. But the questions were valid and they're good. It's the thing is with these VTA verbs, they're more complicated. The conjugations are more complicated too. So like with the others, there's like 7. Your basic independent, there's 7. That's it. 7 in the independent, 7 in the conjunct. In the II verbs, which are usually adjectives a lot of times, like it's cold, it's hot, there's really only 2 main ones. So there's a little variation. There's like 2 of them. Bam. In the VTI verbs, there's only 7 also. It's the same 7 pattern, except there's a plural side. So there's 7 singular, 7 plural. They just added the N to be plural. In the VTAs, there's like 28 or 30. I don't even know. It's like 28, 30. There's a lot of them. So those are the last ones that you're going to master. That's really what it comes down. Unless you're just like over the top. Unless you're like, you know what? He's not going to tell me what I can't. I'm going to do. In my opinion, the best way to learn our language, you start with the VAIs. You concentrate on those patterns. You get those patterns down. Namaji, gamaji, maji, namaji man, gamaji man, gamaji, majik. Independent. You get the conjunct down. Maji yan, maji yin, majit, maji yak, maji go, maji yak, maji wat. You get those fundamentally down. Then you start putting other verbs in. Bodwe yan, bodwe yin. You start a fire, he starts a fire, we all start a fire, whatever. Bean chigayan. You clean, he cleans, and you just keep going through there and adding verbs to those patterns. Get those patterns down first. And the same thing with the independent. Focus on the N being the singular, the K being the plural. Easy peasy. And the rest will come naturally, will come easier. If you worry too much about the VTA ones, you'll hurt your head. So, at least in the beginning.
K is singular and what's the other one?
No, you got it opposite. K is plural. It is singular. Close. You're halfway. Hey. Oh, dang it. Now I know that not only did I not get that, he actually reversed them. Yes. Success. we have completely melted your mind. So, okay. We're going to go into something. We still got a little more time. We'll go into something a little simpler, a little easier, just to kind of ease. It's like when you're on the treadmill and you're running like this. We got to take a nice, you can't just jump off the treadmill. You got to take a nice little slow trot and slow things down a minute. Let's calm it back down a smidge, keep it real simple.
I guess we're not gonna find out what Grandpa was doing out in the woods.
Not today. Not today. No, we already know he was out dancing. We know that.
With a sneaky
With-
sneaky bottle.
With a sneaky ball, a little flask.
Lipstick.
I was telling this little story.
Would have got the answer to that.
That's true.
I know.
Tuesday.
Or not Tuesday, you mean Monday.
Monday.
Yeah. She's like, wait a minute. Who said you had a secret class on Tuesday? I am mad.
Saturday afternoon.
I am angry. So, okay. So real quick, again, Namaji is I leave. Gamaji is you leave. Maji by itself, he or she leaves. The Namaji meant we but not you. What do we mean by we but not you?
That one troublemaker.
Not the person you're talking to, except for that troublemaker, Paul said. Yeah, you're excluding somebody from it. Somebody's not going to be a part of this. Again, our language is very direct. There's no beating around the bush. Like in English, you say, hey, we're going to the store. It's usually all about tone. It's about tone, maybe the vibe, how you're feeling. But if you're not good at getting tone from people or understanding where people are coming, you're not like, oh, okay, we're going. They're like, no. We're leaving, but you're not. You're staying behind, buddy. You're not welcome. I don't know. You got BO or something, or we don't have room in the car or whatever the reason. Yeah, but it's very direct. There's no and there's no getting your feelings hurt in a sense because you got told from the get-go. It's not like after the fact when you get your coat on, you think you're on your way. Okay, I got my money. I'm good. Oh, no. Oh, man. Why you got to treat me like that? You already knew you weren't you were treated like that. Game over. Yeah. So, Namaji, I leave. Gamaji, you leave. Maji, he or she leaves. Namaji men, we but not you leave. Gamaji men, we all leave. Gamaji, you all leave. Maji, they leave. Oh, okay. Mako. Bear. Amo. B. I gotta take some more three letters. Those ones popped out. Yeah, there's 4 letters. Ego. Fishy. Oh, fishy. Ego. Fish. Amo was a B. Yeah. What about an emotion? That was a good bark, Paul. I like that. Oh, I need to borrow you for some. Yeah, we'll have to do you. Oh, there you go. But yeah, I mean, the thing you guys got to keep in mind is that you just got to be patient with yourself. Some of this stuff is going to come really easy to you. Some's going to come with a little bit of, you have to really work at it. You have to keep going back and back and back. But I promise you, if you keep going back and back and back, it will start linking. It'll start making sense. But the key for, at least for me, was always understanding these patterns, understanding the independent, and then the one with the yan, yin, that conjunct one. Because then I understood that all these verbs, I could just set them in this little pattern. And then if I learned, then all I had to worry about is my who, what, when, where questions. Who's doing it? Why are they doing it? Where are they going? And then the demonstratives, this, that, those. But again, with those, there's really 4 that the main ones you use. You get that stuff in your bank, then it's just vocab. You're just adding vocab. You're adding verbs. Okay, this is the verb to leave. This is the verb to go. Nipija ejiayan. Where are you going? Nipija ejiawat. Where are they going? Nijawi ejiawat. Why are they going? Nijapi gamaji. When did you all leave? Nija piga maji. And then again, you're learning those parts. And when you hear that, if you know your who, what, when, where's, bam, you know what's going on. You know your endings on those conjuncts, you know who's doing it. You recognize that it, like maybe you got a nago for yesterday in there and a ga or something, so you know it's in the past. Then you can just kind of zoom in on that one, One common phenomenon that will probably happen to some of you at some point is what I call the, I know what that word is phenomenon. I can't tell you, like if you get to a point where there's certain words you just know real well, like dog, cat, whatever. So if I started talking about my dogs right now, I was like, oh, I went and fed my dogs and blah, then I had to go do this. And you hear an emotion, you're like, oh, okay, I know that. That's a dog. And the sentence left. Okay, something about a dog. And then you hear number 2. Okay, something with 2 of something. And then the sentence left. And then you hear there's a tree involved. And you're like, okay, so there's something with a dog. There's at least 2 of them. And there's a tree. I have no idea what's going on. It's like a phenomenon where you get kind of are just like focused so hard that you're like, you recognize certain words, you kind of get caught on. Like you hear it, you get excited, you grab it, you hold on, and the sentence went by. It happens all the time. Eventually you'll get to that point where you realize that you just have to listen to it out. So instead of just, if you hear nipija ejiayo, you might hear nipija and be like, okay, where? And just kind of get focused on where and just hold on to it. You may hear the jia, the verb to go, kind of focus on that. You might hear the yin, okay, you were involved, but you're not getting the whole thing. So then you just got to sit back and kind of let it hit you. Nipija ejiayen. Nipija ejiayen. It might help you too to be able to, if you listen real good the first time and then try to repeat it in your head, like, okay, nipija ejiayen. Okay, he said nipija ejiayen. And it helps it kind of sink in. And then you're like, okay, I got the whole thing there. PJ. So it's like that sometimes. So, Miigwech. Oh, the voice thing?
Yeah.
Those of us that have voice stuff are. Reba,
You're in the group.
I haven't added Stormy to it. I've got this little group where I put audio recordings. I hadn't put Stormy in it, and Reba doesn't really have doesn't do the internet, so she's not on it. But yeah. Yeah, occasionally we'll just throw like a Manoa in or
That was exactly where I'm at. I started looking at all of the recordings, and the ones that go over like 15 seconds.
shut down.
I get the word, and I gotta listen to it 100 times and it's still works.
It's a very common phenomenon, honestly. I mean, it happened for me too. Like I'd be like, hey, dog, yeah, okay, what the heck about the dog, And so I'm telling you that to hopefully give you some encouragement to don't feel frustrated by that. It's gonna happen. I can guarantee if you stick with this language long enough and you keep at it and you keep working, it's gonna make sense more and more eventually. Eventually you'll get. Just depends what your expectation is. If your expectation, I had a couple one time tell me they just want to learn how to introduce themselves. I was like, well, that's okay. That's cool. That's a great kind of starter thing. And they kept doing language with me for like a long time, and they got to that and they just kept going. And I was like, okay, or maybe it's good to have goals. Set yourself some simple goals. Maybe you want to be able to introduce yourself. Excellent goal. If you're at an event somewhere or Potawatomis, or maybe just an event, you want to introduce yourself. It's great to be able to do that. Maybe you want to be able to talk about the weather, huckle about the weather. I like huckling about the weather. Talk about the weather. Oh, it's a beautiful day. That's cool too. Or maybe you want to be able to do a prayer in the language. Set yourself a goal and you just kind of start with it and you just kind of keep working at it and you just give a little bit more each time. It gets easier. There's a gentleman that I was talking to recently. I think I shared a little bit of his prayer with folks that were on class on Monday. I had a little recording he had sent me of his prayer. And he had just started with just saying a couple words, and he was asking just for some feedback, about it. And it was just like, hey, what do you think about this? And it was a great prayer. He talked about thunder, he talked about the medicine, talked about the direction. I was like, dang, I'm gonna ask you to pray next time they ask me to pray. Like, dang, this is a solid prayer, But it's like that, you get used to that, or if every day you get up and you offer a prayer and you add a little something to it, it just gets easier and easier. And don't discount that right there. It's if you're having problems, take a little tobacco, put that tobacco down. Ask the Creator. Nijokmeshin. Nijokmeshin, help me. Nijokmeshin. You know, Zane get non go again. It's hard sometimes. Nijokmeshin, help me. And if you can't say it all in Indian, that's okay. Say Nijokmeshin, you know, with this language, or Nijokmeshin with whatever. No, Nijokmeshin. Just learn the words that you do know and use them. Miigwech, thank you. Miigwech, thank you for this nice day. Thank you. Miigwech for, you know, that I woke up today. Miigwech for my family, or whatever. Then you learn the word for a good day. Miigwech manogies. You just kind of build off that. So take heart in that and realize that you can definitely expand from that. So I think because of how, well, I'll tell you what, we'll do a smidge more. I think y'all can handle just a little more. I know I've done a lot with y'all. With this understand that. I'm going to just real briefly show you the telling people not to do it. I won't go into all these forms. I'm just going to do the very basic one VAI one real quick, just because I kind of wanted to touch on it. And yeah, don't do it. Like, don't read, don't touch that, don't do this. Don't. It's pretty simple. There's not a lot to it. The basic one is just you put a gaggle on it, okay, and then you put a gaggle and a can or a cat at the end. You're thinking of negative. Yeah, can or cat at the end, okay? And then you just put your verb in there. So if I said like don't leave, it would be gaggle, maji, can. If I said all of you don't leave, gaggle, maji, cat. If I said don't clean, which that never happens, someone never says don't clean to me. Gaggle, bean, chige, can. Gaggle, bean, chige, cat. It's just, you just put the verb in, and you have to have your gaggle at the front, and can for singular, and cac for plural. That's all there is to it. And that works for all your VAI type verbs, okay? Your basic verbs. Don't sit, don't read, don't drink, don't eat. If you said don't eat, maybe you're waiting on some people. Gaggle, wis, nakan. Don't eat. Don't you guys eat? Like maybe everybody needs to wait until somebody does a modmo. You know, do a modmo and pray. Gaggle, wis, nakan. Gaggle, wis, nakan. Don't you all eat? And I wasn't planning on being here. So I was going to be in that. That would be in that room. They had this acme, and they have it like once every 3 months or something. I was like, oh, okay. These pens are not the greatest. I apologize. So gaggle we can. Don't you eat? Gaggle we cat. Don't you all eat? Gaggle maji can. Don't leave. Gaggle maji cat. Don't you all eat? Remember what migadi was? That migadi? Fight. This would be a more logical one than this. Gaggle, migadi, cack, or gaggle, migadi, can. It takes 2 to tumble, right? So usually one probably gaggle, migadi, cack. Don't you all fight. Don't you all fight. Gaggle, migadi, cack. Don't you all fight. Don't you all fight. Gaggle is an interesting word in and of itself. There's certain words in Potawatomi that have multiple meanings, and gaggle is actually one of those. Gaggle is always part of this form. When you're telling somebody don't do it, you have to have a gaggle, and you need, with the basic one, you have a can or a cack. There's something at the end, but even on the other ones, gaggle is always involved. Remember how wab meshin was like, look at me? So for that would be gaggle wab meshit can, don't look at me. So it's still got, it doesn't have exactly the same meaning, but it has the gaggle. But with the basic VAI, it's just can or cack and gaggle. Gaggle by itself, though, some people will use it kind of jokingly, like, don't gaggle. To the point that I saw one time, I won't say where, but a particular group of Potawatomis, they put gaggle on one of the signs to indicate stop. Well, yeah, because people like, don't do that, stop, gaggle. I can kind of see where they're coming from, but actually gaggle by itself actually means something. So the sign means something. Okay, something. And if you say cho gaggle, we put a cho for no, it means nothing. Cho gaggle. If you put a jock on there, it means everything. Jock gaggle. But gaggle by itself honestly just means something. So their stop sign said something. And I was like, cool, okay. I know where they were going because it's used like, don't do that, stop doing that, gaggle. And so people have thought of it like that, but technically by itself, it doesn't mean that. It actually means just something. And it was in the right amount of letters too. 1, 2, 3, 4, S-T-O-P. So, okay, this fits, you know. But our stop sign says gashnin, stop. That's a command, gashnin. Gashnamok, everybody stop. Gashnamok. Now, I will tell you that I actually tried to get a different thing put on the stop signs. And they were like, no, right.
Justin, in our dictionary.
Yeah.
It's bone.
That's another stop. Now, bone is a preverb, but that's not a command to stop. Like if I said, I stopped working yesterday, I could say, Nagi bon mitsui nago, or nago nagi bon mitsui. I stopped working yesterday. But you're not telling somebody to stop. That's the difference. Yeah, there's a verb to stop. Yeah. And that's a preverb. It's on a lot of things like, it's even in the word babon. If you think about it, the winter is when things stop. They cease. Babon. Mbo means die. It's kind of in there too. So, but yeah, but that's like a preverb. You can stick that on things. Like if you want to say you're retired, like I don't work, I stopped working, you say, Nagi bon. You do it that way too. Nagi bon mictu. I stopped working, I retired. Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. But anyway, on the stop signs, I actually tried to get them to put the gob zone, which means stop your car. I mean, because I said our language is very specific. You could be very specific, as in stop your car. In English, we just say stop. I mean, whatever, stop, don't do it, whatever. But probably it could be stop what you're doing, stop your car. This is just your general stop, gosh, you know, and that's okay because it's used. It can be used in other ways. Like you can tell somebody, hey, stop, gosh, and it does mean stop, so it's not wrong. But I was trying to get him to put the gob zone originally, and I was like, stop your car, because that's much more specific. But in hindsight, I'm not too unhappy about it, because at least it's on the sign. Yeah. Now what I'd like to see is it get on the only thing on the sign. Right now we have the Potawatomi and the English. I'd like to get to a point where we just have the Potawatomi, because it's a universally accepted symbol. It'd be nice to just have, gosh.
What about the bicycle?
What's that? Yeah, it's just, this just means stop.
No, I'm saying if you put on the sign.
Yeah.
Stop your car.
Mm-hmm.
Bicycle.
Well, actually, technically, stop your moving vehicle. Anything in motion, so it would count for bike. Yeah. I like where you're going though, Dwight. I like where you're going. Like the bike guided, it didn't say it for the bike. I like that. I like that thinking though. That's very specific. You're right. I did say specific. I just didn't go into the specifics of that word. You're right. I like it. You call me. Yeah. What about suspicion? No, it means that too. Stop your vehicle from moving. Yeah. No. If you have an alien spaceship come by, it needs to stop. So I think that's probably good for a day, guys. I think I've already melted your minds pretty solidly. But it's good. It's a good kind of melt. I mean, you're gonna have these words spin around your head, and you're gonna wake up. You're gonna start hearing these words. They're gonna be like bounce around. Then the real bad one is when you hear them, you don't know what they are. I know, I've heard that word. What is that word?
I do that all the time.
It can either drive you crazy or take you to a higher level. We'll see what happens. Hopefully take you to a higher level and bring you up even more of that. So
here's another one.
Okay. No. We still have time. I mean, I'm just trying to. I just don't want to. You're welcome to leave if you like. Yeah, go ahead. No. I'm done with my formal teaching. But in that freezer in the break room. Uh-huh. Can't. Oh, camp. Gabushable is the verb to camp. So if you want to, are you saying like this is a camp, like camp? Gabush one.
I don't know until I hear all of it. What I was thinking is like Justin's camp is over there.
This means he or she camps. So if you were to say that, you would say Justin Gabesho Eva. He's camped over there. Now you could make it like turned into a noun. You say like Gabesh Windmill to be like a camp.
That's what I would write.
You do it like that. That's more of a name. Gebeshwin. So Justin's Gebeshwin Eva. Justin's camp's over there or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, big witch, big witch. I know. Mamina. He's got some meat for you too. Are you staying for a drum?
There's two, there's one Walmart bag and then on the inside there's another Walmart bag. So
Oh, Mamina. Okay, so for those of you online, I'm gonna go ahead and we're closing down this one. So we'll see you later. Mamina.
What is co-op